I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Set Connects. This is your host Danny, and I'm here in the beautiful city of downtown LA. We're here at Coast to Coast Cannabis, Coast to Coast Dispensary here on Alameda Street in the heart of downtown. And you know, we've been doing these episodes at different spots. First, we were doing some in Boyle Heights, but now, you know, we've been asked to come out to different shops and view other areas here in LA. I'm personally excited to be here at this shop. Shout outs to 3C Farm, shout out to Coast, and shout out to Diane for making this happen. Today's episode is a special one. We have another brand in the house that I'm excited to share their story, and we have a few folks here that I know you guys are going to be interested in learning more about. So we have Desert Underground in the building, and you can find all their products here at the shop as well, Coast to Coast, which is another reason why we wanted to be here, to be able to, you know, show when we do talk about these brands, we can actually find them. And so giving you guys access to where you can find the brands behind the story that we're telling, but also coming to the shop and showing the beauty behind the shops as well, and everything that's being done. So with that being said, without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to James Robertson and Liz Luna. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What's up, Danny?
Good.
All right. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I need you guys to get that closer. Yep.
Yeah, we're up on this mic now. You can
there you go.
Up.
All right, so what we like to do in this episode, guys, is we like to learn more about you guys personally before we get into the brand. So I want to ask you first, Liz, talk to me about your upbringing. What was your upbringing like? Where did you grow up? And what was the message behind cannabis in your household?
I grew up more in the San Fernando Valley, in that area, and then kind of moved closer to downtown LA as I got a little bit older. Cannabis was common common to talk about amongst my neighborhood for sure. Just growing up around Latino community and stuff like that is obviously something very well known. A lot of people hustling it, so it was always a kind of a go-to if you're trying to expand, in very many different ways. So it's more of a positive thing. Got more positive as it got more legal, but it was always around something I was familiar with for sure.
Okay, cool. And what about you, James?
I'm from the culture. I grew up in a really strong Rastafarian community back east, New York City area. So for me, it's part of my roots and culture and something I've come up with my entire life. And it's a privilege and an honor to be able to be in this industry at this point and actually, have some influence and some say about how cannabis is seen in the American marketplace and how it's marketed. And I just couldn't be more stoked to be at this point of where we're at in the industry because we've come so far.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely have. So I'm gonna go back to you, Liz. You brought up the Valley. You brought up that it's been something that's been around you. How did you get into, did you see yourself working in this industry as you were coming up, or how did you fall into the role that you're in now? And share with us what your role is for Desert Underground.
I kind of, as I got older, I figured it would be a smart move to get into because I was so familiar with it, and I had a kind of a passion for music, and music and cannabis kind of go hand in hand. So I always kind of knew that I was going to end up combining the two, if not working for one or the other.
Okay.
But I do a lot of marketing in cannabis in general, also in non-cannabis related fields. So marketing's always been a passion. Art, music, cannabis, all those things have always been something that kind of defines me. So I knew it was going to be somewhere involved. I didn't know it was going to be this close in center,
yeah.
but I'm happy that it is.
That's dope. And I'm glad that you brought that up. And I'm glad that you brought up the fact that, you do things outside of the cannabis in the marketing field because, one, being a Latina in the space, I'm sure it's difficult to even navigate through this industry, and we'll get to that. But to be able to just share that, there's different ways to tap into this industry in whatever capacity, and so the fact that you're doing it is like a testament to our viewers that anyone can get into this field if you're really interested.
Yeah.
And kind of put in your energies into how you fit in.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And going back to that, like what are some challenges that you face as a Latina in this space?
You know, I think I've been pretty fortunate because I've been in it from it being such a younger business that I've kind of been growing with it. So
Yeah.
I kind of been able to navigate accordingly. But, you know, just like being a woman in the world in general, you know, sometimes people already have certain assumptions or, you know, think you got here easily and you know, I didn't. So it's just, you have to work for it. You have to earn everything in this life. And I think cannabis is no different.
Oh, yeah, no, thank you for that. Thank you. And James, how'd you get to where you're at, bro?
Well, it's
So share with us your journey.
Yeah, my journey. I've been in cannabis for about 30 years. And so, you know, if you do a little bit of the math, it'll tell you about where I come from, or as we say, heritage or legacy folks. That would be me. But, you know, where I come from is a long story, but I'm more interested nowadays in paving a road for and making way for other people to identify themselves and find themselves in this industry. This industry is for everyone. All colors, all shapes, all sizes. There is a spot here for you. If you are smart, you are resourceful, you can deliver. It's on, you know, folks like me and you know, to make way for all these new people to come in and really make not just jobs. And Liz will tell you, you know, we don't, on my squad, we don't do jobs, we build careers here. And so that's the intention. So I'm fond of my past and I honor my past, and it's a privilege and all that we've been through to get here to this point. But my eye and my focus nowadays is really laying out some pavement for other people, giving some runway for some other people to launch their career and really be engaged in this industry, which, quite frankly, you know, as you know, has been so hard on people of color, you know, throughout history. So, you know, it's on folks like that tend to look like me to really, you know, level the playing field and make this an inclusive, you know, an inclusive mission for this industry.
Now, you brought up a lot of great points there, and one of the things that I'd like to learn a little more about is like how do you go about paving the way for folks in your network, and how can folks that are watching this maybe tap into, like, get into this network to be along this journey and this path?
Sure. I mean, honestly, Liz could probably answer this better than me, but I'll take a shot. And it's really just about, you know, for all the people watching and people wondering about how to get in, it's asking questions. It's making yourself available. It's sticking your hand up and saying, you know, I'm interested in this. You know, one of the first questions I ask any of the new hires that we have at Desert Underground is, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be in this industry? Because what you're being hired for is your first stop in your career path. So let's figure out where you want to go. Maybe you spend some time in operations. Maybe you spend some time in the marketing crew and sales team with more of my size, more of my team. Or maybe you want to learn to cultivate cannabis. But, you know, that's sort of the idea, to answer your question, is, you know, ask questions, throw your hand up, identify yourself so that, you know, we can grab you and put you on the right trajectory.
Yeah, and you know, I'm glad you said that, because I know that that's been something that we've brought up in like countless episodes, is the relationship building, right? And that's big in this industry, right? Like, you know, who you meet early on and how you interact with those folks early on, you know, down the line may be something to where, you know, these folks are now going to be in different positions that if something happens, you can reach out to these folks and be like, hey, I'm here now. How can we work? Or how can we connect? How can we network? And that's big in this, right?
It's important. It's important to you know, it's important to let people find themselves in this industry. You know, when Liz has been with me for years, through many different companies. You know, and when you started out, I think you were a brand ambassador.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and then it was, well, you tell your story, because you're brand manager at Desert Underground now.
Yeah.
But as an example of how you grow it and where you come from, You say it better than me, Liz.
Yeah, no, like he's saying, I kind of started more towards the bottom, towards the beginner stages of just trying to get my foot in the door and seeing where I could fit best and how I could get to where I really wanted to get to, which was a little bit more on the marketing, higher end of the spectrum. So
Yeah.
So yeah, just like you said, just making yourself available, making sure that you're taking care of those connections that you build, and you meet so many people in this industry. Just even if you're just a bud tender, you meet a million people just walking in the door. So as you stay in the industry, you meet even more, and you have to be kind of intuitive to who are the people that you might want to stay in contact with to get you where you want to go and who you want to build with in the future. And I was very lucky to meet James and be able to hit it off with him instantly, and we knew that we could partner in just about anything and make it successful.
And that's the thing about James, right? Because same situation with me, right? Like when I met James a while back, we connected, then we kind of went our own ways, and shit happened, things went, where it went, and opportunities come up, and now we're back together again and working in some capacity.
Right.
And so, again, it goes back to like what we were just talking about, is building those networks, having that first initial interaction, and like making that initial interaction an impactful one.
Yeah.
And then from there, like who's a real one, right? Who is someone that you can connect with down the line, and who isn't. Exactly. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, definitely.
So talk to me about Desert Underground.
Yeah, so Desert Underground, it's a labor of love. So Desert Underground is family style, is family culture first and foremost. So some of the other executives on the Desert Underground team happen to be related by blood. There's 3 brothers that are part of the executive team, and we sort of extend that ethos, or that family vibe all the way through the entire company. So everybody knows each other. Everyone is hyper aware of what each other does, and is there to actually, lean in and help each other, like connect and achieve what we need to do. Whether you're on the cultivation team, or you're one of my squad on the sales team or marketing team, we do it more or less as an entire team focus. Like, it's not just one person who's the winner. It's always a group team effort for sure. And just to go back, something that Liz had mentioned, and that she probably wouldn't say, but I'm going to highlight, is it's really easy if you're in management like me, to accelerate your business when you work with smart people. So, that's the thing about this industry, that, all the stereotypes may say one thing, but there are so many bright, smart young people, and older people for that matter, that are just looking for a way to apply their expertise and apply their knowledge base in a more meaningful manner for cannabis at large. And I'm here to answer that. I'm here to answer that call and facilitate that need, and plug smart people in to facilitate what we need to do.
And that's an important thing, especially in this industry with, brands that are coming up. A lot of these brands, a lot of these businesses are essentially startup businesses, right?
Yeah.
And so to be mindful and cognizant of like, all right, this is your strength, and let's put you here and plug in the, where everyone needs to be, especially right now, it is something that is definitely needed. And if you have the eye to be able to do that, and especially, and one of the things here is like, there's a lot of egos in this industry, right? Yeah. And so if you're one that can put your ego to the side and be able to delegate appropriately, you can strive.
Yeah.
Right.
There's nothing more frustrating when you see a winner, someone that's a winner that just hasn't been facilitated to win. And so for me, that's my calling. Is really let's facilitate these folks. Let's turn winners into actual viable winners through what we do as a business, and that is more or less the ethos that stands behind Desert Underground.
So Desert Underground is started as a family-owned thing, right? So you guys are a family-owned business, right? And started off with 3 brothers, which kind of sounds like a folktale, right? Like,
it is.
It sounds like it started from 3 brothers.
It is a little bit.
And shout out to the brothers. Shout out to you guys.
Shout out to Ethan and Grant and Logan Woods. Those guys are the backbone of the business. And then, we have some really other amazing folks that have been there from the start. Kyle Gressler and his cultivation team, Susie Yost and the operations team. We have a strong, vast staff that really wears multiple hats all the time. And, like you said, we're a startup mentality. So as a small company, you don't just do this one thing. We all wear many, many hats across the board. And to tell you the truth, that's what makes it fun. I don't think any one of us could specialize in just one thing at this point. And that's what I mean by family style. We're all kind of mixed in together and pulling weight together. And just trying to make this business be as best as it could, and really showcase our world-class flower to the best of our abilities.
So do you guys, as a brand and as a company, do you guys grow your own flower? And can you guys share with us about that process?
Yeah, let's get into the good stuff. This is what everybody wants to know, right?
Tell the secrets.
Where's the high grade? Where's everybody got the? Okay, well, Desert. That's what we are about at Desert Underground. We grow handcrafted indoor flower. We run about 7 to 9 strains. At any given time, we have our main cultivation facility out in Desert Hot Springs. And again, that is very much a family style vibe at the cultivation. We are super proud of the folks that we employ. Liz will tell you, we put a lot of food on a lot of tables every night in the Desert Hot Springs area because of cannabis, because of people working in our industry. Desert Hot Springs area would be a otherwise economically depressed area if it wasn't for a lot of the cannabis cultivation centers that are out there. So we are super proud to be able to contribute to the livelihood of those families that are out there.
And so to paint it out for our viewers, Desert Hot Springs is what, about 2-3 hours away from Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Right, and it's like it says in the city, it's in the desert.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you think of growing, only way to grow out there is that indoor facilities, right?
Yeah, for sure. You're in the desert. You're dealing with heat. It's a daunting task in and of itself, just to not only grow cannabis, but to keep everything cool and nice and easy the way that you want it to be, temperature controlled. But it's our privilege to do it, and it's our task to do it, and we enjoy it, and we excel at it, obviously. So, but yeah, we grow 7 to 9 strains consistently, and one of the things that we're also proud about the fact is that our strains are a mix of what was great in the past and what's great in the future here. So we have a lot of heritage strains and genetics that we cross with next wave exotics. So we run, for instance, a Durban Jack, which is our Durban Poison / Jack, a Jack Herrera.
Yeah.
So it's got a little bit of a call to the past and a little bit of a more recent swerve on it.
I really like that strain too, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Like that, the nose on that, like you can really smell that Jack in that.
Yeah, well, that's Durban Poison as it's by itself is hard enough to maintain those genetics, but when you cross it with something a little bit more stable and robust like Jack, it takes on obviously a new life and identity of its own.
Yeah.
And people have been really digging of it because on the front end of that flavor, you get that, what that South African Durban is famous for, like that spicy, funky, almost obnoxiously good kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I got to stay on my mic here. And then the back end and major nose on it is that Jack. So it's, if you can find what we just call it Durban or Durban Jack at any of our retailers, especially like here at Coast to Coast, I would recommend highly picking that up.
You wouldn't be disappointed, guys.
No, you wouldn't. And it's a hybrid that it's mostly a sativa, leans on the sativa side.
Yeah.
But I got to say, if you're looking for, I think my favorite right now, and this always goes around, we should ask each other what our favorites are. But I think
they're the same.
Probably. I think our favorite right now is probably the garlic truffle that we're running. Which is our GMO.
That wasn't the one you were thinking.
I was going to say Funko Bubba, but you can't go wrong with either.
Yeah, Funko Bubba is our cushy uncle, Funko Bubba. Yeah. So I mean, to Liz's point, we more or less have flavors and strains for everybody.
Yeah, depends on the mood.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. If you're an OG gas head, you know,
Yeah.
we got you covered on the frog, and
Yeah.
and if you want to mix into that GMO obnoxious goodness, we have garlic truffle. And if you like that exotics, you know, gelato-y kind of runcy, you know, berry flavor, you gotta stick with our crunch berries.
Yeah.
But really, we have
Yeah.
flavors out there for everyone. The thing that we're really stoked on right now is our new product right here. You can see over our shoulder is Terp Crush.
Talk to me about that. What is it? Like what is this Terp Crush joint that we have going on here?
Well, Terp Crush right now is a 0.8 gram joint pre-roll with a flavor capsule or terp capsule in the filter tip. So if you remember, like what a Camel Crush used to be years ago, same types of sensibility. It's the flower in these pre-rolls is our premiums, all high grade, premium, top shelf. And then we roll it up in pre-roll form, and in our filter tips we have these cellulose terpene balls that, as you smoke the pre-roll, you can work the filter and it'll pop the terpene ball that's inside and release fruit flavonoids throughout the joint as a flavor enhancement. So it's just a little bit of a flavor swerve. We're already super proud of the high grade cannabis that we have in our
Right.
Terp Crush. It doesn't need to be stronger. What we're just doing here is just having some fun and putting a flavor curve or swerve on a already great experience.
And I know off air, I know you guys were talking about
Yep.
the flavors. Share with us a little bit about what's your take on the flavor, Liz? And how do you like this new SKU?
I love it. I'm kind of a nerd on it, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
I was fascinated by the idea when I first heard about it, and I was like kind of hesitant. Like, I don't know if it'll actually work, you know, but it seems like a good concept. But when I tried it, I really enjoyed it because you can control when you want that flavor to hit. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't have however long it takes you to smoke a joint. So, you know, you don't want to wait for that flavor, or you don't want it to go right away because you're going to come back to the joint or whatever. I smoke a lot. So,
Yeah.
you know, I like to be able to control the flavor and when it's going to hit and what flavor that is. So I like the variety in it, and I like the fact that I control when that burst is going to go down.
Now, let me ask you, in the marketing world now, how challenging or not challenging is it to market a new, essentially what seems like a new product
Yeah.
out in the market? Like, how difficult was it to create a whole marketing strategy behind a new product like this?
James?
Well, it's not necessarily difficult. It's more or less, connecting the dots that are there for a product line that's brand new. So this is the first of its kind flavor infusion pre-roll that's on the market in California here. So for us, it's really about our strategy is carving that new niche in that new subcategory of flavor enhanced pre-rolls, which is where we're at here. In the R&D, in the research and development of this SKU, you know, we had a lot of fun, and one of the things that we learned is that nobody terp crushes the same way. Like, what I mean is, a lot of people will light up a terp crush and have a few pulls on it, and then pop the flavor ball in the filter. Or some people pop it right away and have the flavor enhancement right away. Or some other people in the how do you terp crush zones like to terp crush after they put out the joint for the first time as a little flavor kick for when they relight it.
Yeah.
So what's happened through the R&D process is that we discovered a whole little sort of marketing theme in there. And how do you terp crush? Tell us how you terp crush. So you'll see.
I like that. That's a nice little campaign that you guys can put out there, right?
Yeah. So you'll see over the next 60 days here on our IG and on our website, terpcrusher.com. Please check it out. Different ways about how you can interact with us and let us know how you terp crush.
Okay. I got a question. So there's a dip in the market, right? A crazy dip in the cost of goods, the cost of flour. How has that affected you guys with your business with, like, talking on the whole business level side of things? Because we're seeing a lot of farms being shut down. We're seeing a lot of people going out of business.
Yeah.
How has that, if any, affected you guys in any way?
Well, like
you probably have the most insight on that.
Well, like I'm going to use something that I think you and I say all the time, and problems are opportunity.
Yeah.
So for us, all like the current problems in the industry at large, and there are many, whether it's taxes, whether it's cultivation issues, you name it, production, supply chain, you name it. For us, all of the current, onslaught of problems are all good opportunities for us to fine-tune our business, to adjust what we do, and to, quite frankly, move into a lot of open shelf space that has now suddenly become available at a lot of our retail clients because of some of the problems that you mentioned with some of the other companies that have unfortunately had to, take a time out, let's just say, for now. So I know, when I say like it's opportunities, it's sort of a loaded answer, but it really is opportunities for us to launch different SKUs, to get the attention of our end users, of our customers in a different, more meaningful way. And now it's for brands that are really, that have a culture behind them, that, that you're not just a logo on a Mylar bag, that you have a deeper, richer, in our case, family style story to tell. You'll see those brands be able to sustain, the issues that are happening right now. I will say that for us, our point of privilege is that we've been, I say this to everyone in California. You probably have smoked Desert Underground flower in your time as a resident here in California over the last 7 years.
Why is that?
We've been white labeling for this period of time.
Okay.
And it was only until about a year ago where we decided to come out and tell our own family story, our own story about Desert Underground as a branded packaged good available, cannabis goods available here in California. So, but prior to that, we've powered a lot of the major brands here in California, all of which you have on the shelves here at this location and at many of the other retailers. Very, very popular brands.
And so just to give more insight behind for our viewers, that's because on the license side of things, unless you own a license, you need a source from a licensed cultivation. And if you wanted to have a brand out there, you needed a source from these places. So that's essentially what you're talking about? Yes.
So because we've been able to white label and be a source for a lot of these other brands, it's also allowed us a little bit of a cover to fine tune and learn. And so we kind of kept our powder dry, quite frankly, over the last few years.
I like that.
So, there's more, and all the crash and burns out there's more lessons about the opportunities that can be gleaned. And so that's what we did. And so we made sure that we were right and tight before we launched our own journey here as our own brand, rather than only powering other brands.
Yeah, I meet a lot of people who are new to Desert Underground, just the brand, and they're kind of surprised at the quality and how good it is. And they're like, well, you're so new. How are you so good already? And, they're kind of, how'd you figure that out? But that's because, like he said, we've been in the game for a while, just, not under our own
behind
name.
the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes and kind of giving you quality. But now we have our own identity. So.
Yeah, that's a really good model to have. And you would think like more would do that, but everyone wants to hit the ground running and start moving and shaking, and it just we do, maybe it's the martial artists in some of us, but it's listen and learn and be observant and watch what others are doing and glean from those other lessons out there what you can apply to your business today. Yeah. And that's it's basic, but a lot of people forget to do that. Like you're saying, they want to get out there and run and gun and be the kings or queens of cannabis right away. And that's just not, slow and steady wins the race every time. You know what? And I'm glad you said that, because that's, myself, and I've brought this up, a few times, like as an operator myself, like there's moments where I personally want to I need to do this. Like I need to hurry up. I need to go. And then I'm like, no, let me back up. Let me kind of observe. Because even right now, like we're recording this during the week where MJ BizCon is like the thing and everyone is out there.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, man, I wish I was there, like, to make these connections. But then again, I'm like, no, let me sit back. Let me keep doing what I'm doing right now, keep building. And then when it's time for me to be there,
Yeah.
I'll be there. And then everyone will know who the fuck I am when I'm there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True. Well, this industry is so funny in that you can get really distracted about what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Because it looks so deadly and so cool.
Yeah.
You know, who's doing this where, or what product are they launching, and trying to keep up with the Joneses. You can do that as a business, but I'm here to tell you, you're going to waste your time and waste your budget, and you won't be in business. Focus on what you can achieve. Be on time. Deliver. These are all the basics that, as some of us OGs know, like, this is what this industry was built on. It was trust and relationships, and your word matters. You have to live up to your word, and if you make a commitment, you have to be able to deliver on that commitment. And too often today in this industry, we forget that we make a commitment, and things like terms and all sorts of things tend to become malleable and vague. No. We are trying to keep this family style with some good ethos and values that we all grew up with, and keep this basic, and deliver and be of your word and be on time. I couldn't say that enough. And I think that's half the problem with some of the issues that are out there today. So, for us, we like to focus on what we do best. Like, to your point, it's easy to get distracted about what all the other people are doing in the room and what looks fun and what looks like valuable time.
Yeah.
Not missing out.
I'm here to tell you that you are not. Not, focus on what you can deliver on. Make something today. Don't plan something today. Let's. What are we making today?
Yeah.
That's a great point. I love that.
Well, I mean,
that was.
Thanks very much. But so many people spend, your job isn't actually making plans or
just showing up.
Yeah. Your job is, you actually have to do the deliver part. You actually have to supply something in the end. In our case, it's a variety of high grade cannabis that's available to all people everywhere in California at a really great price. That's what we do. Yeah. And that's what we try to deliver on consistently for our retail clients and our end users.
Yeah.
I like that.
Can't just make promises, got to deliver.
Yeah.
And you got to have solutions for the problems. There's always going to be problems, but you have to come up with a way to solve them and get through them and take that forward to the next problem, because there's always going to be problems. But if you just get frustrated at the problem and give up, then you're not going to last very long.
Well, that's the deal, right? So for us, and now I'm going to soapbox a little bit real quick, but about differentiators. And if you're in the industry and you're in a brand, and you don't know what differentiates you from your other brands, and that is a problem. And you need to lean into what makes a difference for you. What makes you unique. One of the things we do as a brand, because Liz and I come from the retail side of cannabis for many years, as well as being on the brand side. But one of the things we like to do as a brand is work with our retail clients, like folks like here, like at Coast to Coast, and help them. Like, we'll do co-marketing sponsorship programs. Like, we know a lot of the pain points that retailers are having right now in the industry, especially when it comes to marketing and getting people to come through their door, and not only to buy my products or buy our products at Desert Underground, but buy any other product on the shelf. So retailers are dealing with a whole litany of problems trying to get traffic through their door or through their e-commerce. And for brands that can show up, like Desert Underground and Terp Crush does, that can show up to the table and help these retailers with, hey, we have some co-marketing sponsorships available for you. We have some, whether it's a Google takeover, a billboard takeover, programmatic, emailing. I'm not really
podcast,
podcasting with it. So the more you can bring some more differentiators to the table for your retail clients as a brand, the more that retail client's gonna want to stock you and help you and push your brand through their doors.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things at Desert Underground that we do, is try and ensure that we're not only going to be on your shelf, but we're actually going to bring traffic to your location, because we are on your shelf as a privilege.
Yeah.
Now, how how challenging can that be if, as a brand, and for those like we just talked about, want to hit the ground running, try to get into as many shops and then spread themselves too thin to be able to deliver that.
Right. Well, look, it's on a brand to know, your capacity in cultivation and just how many shops you can sustain. It's really sexy and tempting to be like, oh, I want to be in 300 shops.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Can you? It goes back to our values. Can you deliver on that?
Yeah. Can you provide support for all 300?
Yeah. Are you going to have PADs and promos and branding and marketing?
Yeah.
Is all that? So
and that's just one part, right? Then the other part is. Yeah. Can you sustain? Can you keep up with the demand of the sales team? Yeah. Can you have enough products packaged, tested, and ready to go?
That's right.
So that when when it's time to deliver the product, your distribution team can make that happen. Right. And that's another big hiccup that a lot of people forget about or get lost in the wind. Is like, cool, we get the marketing, we can get the sales, we can get this, we can get that done.
Yep.
But then they miss the mark operationally, where they don't have the right support on the distribution side or on the cultivation side or with the trimming and the packaging and getting all that done.
Well, that's look, Danny, that and Liz, that is, you're really talking about, as a brand, you have to have every part of your business dialed in, so what you can support confidently and deliver for. I mean, there is a valley, or there is a deficit sometime between executive desire and operational functionality.
Right.
Meaning, like, what can you actually pull off? And so, but it's on us as business operators to know, what is our capacity for clients, that we're able to meet with a certain order quantity of quality every time. Where's our threshold for consistency and deliverability meet? So for us, we have it pretty dialed in that we live up to our commitments that we make, and our supply chain is very much dialed in.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of businesses get lost in thinking that the business of the day is just figuring just that one part of the supply chain out, when it's actually being able to deliver for your entire client base.
Right. With all that being said, what's the future for Desert Underground? What are some things that our listeners can look out for, that you guys have coming down the pipeline?
So there's a few things. I'm going to bring it back to Terp Crush first. So we have 4 flavors that we launched right away, or back in October, only a couple weeks ago now, with Terp Crush, and it's our blueberry, watermelon, cream soda, and mango. But we have another 8 flavors that we're about to launch. Some of them are minty, some of them are berry flavored, some of them are cherry flavored, grape, perps, all sorts of stuff. It's a whole world of flavor that's coming through. So you're going to see a bigger, robust lineup of SKUs from Terp Crush coming out, which we're pretty stoked on. On Desert Underground, we are constantly cultivating and reviewing new phenotypes that we have. So there's a whole group of new strains that we'll be launching throughout this year. There is a more of a premium, higher grade flower strain that a group of flowers that we're going to be launching later on in 2023, which we're proud about. So to answer your question, it's increasing, your product variety for the flavors and tastes that are out there. It's also, one of the things that we're really fond of is our partnership with Secret Sesh. Shout out to Peter and the team at Secret Sesh. They are very much our other family. So,
and they're not too far. They're right around the corner from Coast to Coast.
That's right.
Right. So they're literally like right behind.
Yeah, they are.
It's like right behind here.
They are. So
I was driving by and I was like, hey, wait a minute. I've been here.
That's right. That's right. So Wisdom is right over there. And so, yeah, that's where we have, or had been having Secret Seshes for a while now. So look for us to return to Secret Sesh in early 2023 here in the LA area. And throughout California. That is a relationship. For any Secret Sesh that you see pop up, definitely attend it. It's great. They're great consumption events. You will always see Desert Underground and Terp Crush as part of the partnerships there. So can't say
And one of the cool things that just happened too, as we were kind of just talking about it, the security guard here was like, I saw your guys' setup.
That's right.
And it was a dope setup. I loved it.
Yes.
And so how did that feel for you guys?
You know, that's more or less Liz's and I. That's our baby. So that's, you know, when we do trade shows or we do events, this kind of thing, getting feedback from people that have come and engaged with us at these activations, positive feedback like that, really just is the best for us.
Yeah, it's very satisfying.
Right.
Yeah.
So like we always try and say we do things, you know, Desert Underground does it family style. So much so that we even if you see us at a secret sesh or any activation or event that you come to, we don't usually do the 10 by 10 tent setup where it's the Great Barrier Reef of tables on the outside of the tent and people kind of walk up to and get a sample. No. We do it different. We do it family style. You come in, we set up like a living room or like an outdoor living room kind of thing, like your auntie or your uncle would set up.
Yeah.
And because I'm everybody's de facto uncle at this point at my age. So it's like coming to my living room or coming to Liz's living room pretty much. And it's not too different than this, but with a bar set up, a dab bar or a volcano bar for flower in our case. And so we make it a really inclusive, immersive experience for people to come in and just vibe out and hang out in our living room for a while, rather than just walking up to the tent and getting a little sample. Like if you see us at an event, we will smoke you out. We want you to come, be a part of our family, rest, recoup in our family style living room setup, and then leave there swagged out with a bunch of great Desert Underground gear and flour. That's what we do.
Did you have anything else to add to that list?
No, I mean, he hit all the points there. You pretty much just don't want to leave when you pull up to the setup. You know, you feel very at home. You feel like, you know, that's where you're supposed to be. There's no cooler spot than that, you know? So that's always our goal, to make everybody feel like, you know, they're at the place they're supposed to be, just enjoying the best flower you can get, and, you know, not compromising anything because of the quality or because the gear is always dope. The flower's good. So there's nothing bad about it, really. I'm not even just saying that. I think I'd be there if I didn't work for Desert Underground. I'd still be chilling there.
Chilling.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The only problem with Desert Underground is that if you work there, you have to attend events in a different way.
Yeah. But we have a lot of people on staff that just go, like, you know, without being on the clock. They just go just to kick it, you know, like on a weekend. You know, they could be anywhere else, but, you know, they want to be chilling with the fam. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
I love that invite, like that.
Yeah.
That whole ethos, like you've been talking about, and that whole like culture that has been, you know, created within the company.
Well, I also got to shout out Austin on the cultivation team. He just has his newborn baby son. So the Desert
shout out to that.
Yeah, man, maximum respect and love, because, you know, there you go. There's the next person, the next team member on Desert Underground, just born, getting ready to be part of the cultivation team.
And I'm sure they're watching, or because I know they're not getting sleep right now.
No, he's not.
So
He's not. You know, that man grows cannabis and children now, so there's no sleep for him.
busy guy. It's a busy guy.
Austin's our guy. So shout out to him in the entire cultivation team out at Desert Hot Springs right now, Kyle and the whole crew.
now, being that you guys have dialed in cultivation, and with more and more states opening up in the country, is it possible for you guys to essentially go into other states and build out the same exact footprint that you guys did in the desert anywhere else in the country?
The short answer to that is yes.
Okay.
A very big yes. We are working right now to have our first inroads into another state that is about to open up, recreational med. We're just getting our California genetics correct, and we're going to be cultivating in that state as well. So yeah, the next version of Desert Underground, as we move to be in another state as well, we've already started to push forward into that, and so look for an announcement in early 2023.
Sheesh.
As that state comes online. It's a state not too close to the one that we are in now.
Okay.
But we are expanding, and we don't make these moves lightly, and so when we do make the announcement, it'll mean that we are fully ready to go in not just California, but
absolutely.
But for now, our main focus is is truly, really, and only on California to provide high quality flower at, like I said earlier, handcrafted, high quality indoor flower at a great price, available at super awesome retailers like Coast to Coast.
And I'm sure we can get some type of deal going with Coast to Coast with getting some products out. We'll talk to the team. We'll see. We'll make some more announcements there.
You know, there's going to be a promo code we got to share with the crew after this for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. You guys got any shout outs you guys want to give it to any family, friends, anyone?
God, shout out to James Robertson for being the best mentor in the game.
Well, no, let me just return it and shout out to Liz Luna, who is recently married, and she used to be Liz
congrats.
Flores, and now she's our very own Liz Luna. So I'd like to shout out her fiance and future husband Dylan. He's a stellar guy, and really, you know, and that reminds me to shout out all of the other people who are the real backbone to Desert Underground, which is our spouses, our girlfriends, our significant others, our boyfriends, you name it. It's not just the people that work at Desert Underground. There's a lot of people that help us get up and get out the door and do what we do and be at our best to be able to do our best. Yeah. So huge shout out to my wife Mary and Dylan, Liz's hubby to be, and all of the other spouses that are in the mix with Desert Underground. I do want to shout out our executive team. We've been doing a lot of hard work and readjustments over the last couple months, and we are just about in a period now of growth and building another cultivation facility so we can continue to bring not just the high quality indoor flower that we have now, but more of it in some different types of SKUs that we're looking forward to developing.
Oh, thank you. And of course, myself, I'm going to shout out, as always, my 3 girls. As you guys were talking about family,
that's right.
You know, every episode, I always shout out my 3 babies. So, hi Dali, hi Rosie, and hi Faith. Love you, girls. I might as well shout out Julia too, right?
Come on.
Gotta shout out mom too, right?
well, really, Dan, I do want to, you know, this is a family style thing that seems to be the theme of our talk here. And about the relationship that you and I and Liz have had here working over the last few years. You know, it's really been an honor working with you directly and the team at Rolling Valley Distro. Like, totally stoked on it, and the fact that we're able to, you know, extend our relationship beyond from where we were into this working relationship now. I really like, you know, Danny and his team are partners with Desert Underground at their distribution. They're integral to what we do and make our business work. So we just can't thank you enough, and we really appreciate you being part of our family and in our mix. So big respect.
No, thank you, man. I'm just excited for that opportunity. I remember when I saw that message, I was on the road driving back from a long haul from you driving back. What was I? I was coming back from I want to say Eureka, from Humboldt County.
Yep.
And I was like, I saw the message like, oh, I gotta hit him back. I gotta do this. Although you shouldn't be texting and driving, but
no.
You know.
But that's the thing that we mentioned earlier in this podcast is you got to remember the good people in this industry that you bump up against.
Yeah.
Because there is a world there. If you have the wherewithal and you have the mind to do it, you can connect with these people and make better business for yourself and for them and for the community at large. And other people see that. Other people see like what Danny and Liz and I are doing. And we want that because we want them to do the same thing in their community, like ripples, lots of different ripples overlapping each other. Yeah. We all need to help each other out. Everyone watching this podcast, we should do business with each other. We should keep it in this community. Buy from these retailers, go to dispensaries, not the trap ones, go to legal licensed dispensaries, talk to your bud tenders, ask about the product. Of course, I want you to buy Terp Crush and Desert Underground primarily, but you know, there's so many great California brands out there. I couldn't encourage you all enough to like really shop from your local, stay engaged, go to the events. If you want to get in the industry, you want to learn how to grow, throw your hand up. If you ever see anyone from Desert Underground, ask us a question. We'll probably make a place for you.
Yeah. Support goes a long, long way, you know. Just staying in the network and making sure you take care of your connections and supporting all the brands. There's a lot, so try them all. You know?
There is, definitely. And the last shout out is That's Filthy Productions for even making this possible.
Hell yeah.
I can't thank their team enough for always being ready to go whenever we have episodes like this to show up. So thank you, Steven. Thank you, the team. And with that, we're going to be closing now. You guys got any last thoughts? Where can we find you guys?
Yeah, find us at desertunderground.com. Get that store locator. You can find a store near you. We are in about 160 stores throughout California. You can find us at terpcrusher.com as well. Or you can also check us out on IG at The Desert Underground. And, keep up with our events on there. Keep up with our store locator. We're always expanding and always doing something with our retail partners. You'll see Liz and her team out in the field a lot. So I encourage you all to, when you see us, stop and chat us up.
Yep. Ask for us at your local dispensary. If we're not in there, we're on our way. So
100.
There you go. And with that being said, guys, again, shout out to Coast to Coast Dispensary for allowing us to be here and recording on site. Make sure to come check them out. We're here on the heart of Alameda Street on downtown LA. Make sure to check out episodes at Set Connects on YouTube. And make sure to check us out on Instagram at CED_connects for any updates. And with that being said, guys, we'll check you guys out. See you on the next one. Later.
peace.
Peace.